Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, switching to my radio voice. And today I have with me Chris Senkbile, VP and Risk Consultant at Unico Group and founder and CEO at Project Ferro. Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. How's it going?
It's going well, man. Thanks. I appreciate you having me. And by the way, the radio voice is great. Love the radio voice.
I say that to see if I can get the guest to laugh usually. According to LinkedIn, you are in Omaha, Nebraska. Is that accurate?
Omaha, we're in the center of the country, landlocked over here. Our claim to fame is the College World Series and the Omaha Zoo. And after that,
the College World Series, that was a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? It was very recently.
Yeah, it usually starts in like middle of June, roughly. Yeah, rolls through into July. But yeah,
awesome. So I actually have significant history with that area of the Midwest. I went to school at Iowa State, so go Cyclones. I went to school at Iowa State twice, both my undergrad and my MBA. And I lived in Iowa for 6 years post-college, so 10 years total. You didn't go to University of Nebraska Lincoln, but I'm assuming that you are a Cornhuskers Big Red fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be after this last Saturday. You know, they keep making it tough to be a fan, but yeah, no, I'm a Husker fan through and through.
So I don't actually follow football. I do remember a couple of things. When I was in college, you guys always tortured us, basically. What I do remember is that at Iowa State, where I went, a like 6-6 or 6 wins and 7 losses, that was considered a good year. And sometimes we went like 2-11, and Nebraska would go like 10-2, and the coach would get fired for going 10-2, right? So I know that you guys were a super strong team, but so is it no longer the case currently?
You know, we hired one of Nebraska's favorite sons, a guy by the name of Scott Frost, back as our head coach. He played here in the 90s. And had some success at some other schools, and we thought he was going to be our savior reincarnate when he came back and lead us to the championship. And we've had a few tough seasons, so you know I'm still supportive, all behind Scott. I hope we have a great season. But yeah, we do when it comes to firing coaches after a 10-2 season, that's never made a lot of sense to me. That still seems like a pretty good season.
So I have to show this. Okay, hold on, just make sure that I have the right screen. I think I have the right screen. So I'm sharing my screen here.
Yeah.
So last year, you guys went 1-8 in the conference and 3-9 overall, and lost all 5 of your road games.
So here's the thing you needed to know about last season. That is accurate. We lost the most games by less than a touchdown in FBS history since the polling started. So we lost, I think it was 6 or 7 games, something like that. I'm probably not exactly right on that, by less than a touchdown. And that was against some really strong schools that went on to go into the playoff. And we lost by less than a scoring drive. And that was kind of our entire season. We thought we were in those games, we were going to win them. And then, we'd lose it right at the end. And so
is the football stadium, is it still sold out every weekend?
Yeah, we're still keeping the streak alive. Yeah.
Okay.
We're loyal fans here in Nebraska. That's the deal.
So the most painful part about this graphic, this chart that I'm looking at, is, I mean, I feel bad for Nebraska, but the most painful part here is the fact that Iowa is top of the charts. That's what really pisses me off. As a good Cyclone, I am much more anti-Iowa than I am a Cyclone fan.
So So you said you weren't a football fan, but did you ever go to the Cyhawk game
Yes.
when you were at Iowa State?
Yeah.
That's quite an atmosphere to
It
be
is.
around.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I only went to like 2 or 3 games in my entire time in Ames, and that was one of them. And we won the year that I went, and it was a ton of fun. So it looks like Iowa State went 5-4 last year. So you know that's well, no, that's conference 5-4, 7-6 total. So hold on, that's a weird number. Shouldn't it be? No, yeah, 7-6. Yeah, that's about an
Yeah.
average year for Iowa State. Okay, cool.
It's a
So
good season. So that must be then so you went to Iowa State. Iowa is one of the insurance, like centers of the United States. So I presume that's how you got into insurance then, is
so
coming around that
kind of,
school.
yeah. So I went to Iowa State to study computer science, and then because I'm a nerd and I love computers, I do to this day. But it turns out I learned the hard way that if you're bad at math, you will never graduate with a degree in computer science. And I am very, very, very bad at math. So it's a lesson that I've had to learn now twice in my life.
Yeah.
One time when I failed out of computer science and ended up getting a degree in management information systems, which is the business side of computer science.
Mhm.
And number two, at Nationwide Insurance, where I talked my way into a financial leadership rotation program. It's called the FLRP, Financial Leadership Rotation Program. I talked my way into it, and after a year, they showed me the door. Same story, because I can't do math. If you can't do math, you're bad at finance. So anyway, but I learned the lesson since then. For the listeners, for those of you that are early career, for the love of all that is holy, for the love of whatever deity you do or do not worship, do strengths finders early on in your career, do the disc profile early on in your career. And if you are like me, you will learn that you are meant to be in a sales type of role, not in a finance type of role. Anyway, I graduated with a degree in management information systems. I was an international student. I'm from Costa Rica originally, so I needed to be sponsored for a work visa. which
Sure, yeah.
which the Iowa State Career Services people told me my senior year that I was unemployable. They're like, you will never find sponsorship if you're not an engineer. And I'm like, this is a little late. I really wish
Would have been
you
good to
guys,
know. Yeah.
this would have been good to know, exactly. But after a lot of work, I found the transportation company that needed a fleet manager that spoke Spanish in Des Moines, Iowa. There are not a lot of those, right? So they need a college, a business degree that speaks Spanish. So I got that job, and they sponsored me for my work visa, which they'll never do again. And it was super interesting. We actually lost, like we applied for it, and the immigration people said no, because fleet management is not directly related to your management information systems degree, even though it's a business degree, right?
Wow.
I guess I had to be a logistics major. So we appealed, and at the same time as we appealed, when I went to see the lawyer in a panic, the immigration lawyer said, yes, we need to appeal. And by the way, who is this pretty young lady by your side? And I said, this is my girlfriend. And he said, is she an American citizen? And I said, yes, she is. And he said, are you getting married? And I said, yeah, we're engaged, and we're planning to get married when she graduates college in 2 or 3 years. And he said, I strongly recommend that you reconsider that. So basically, how it went, it was really funny. My H-1B, specialty worker visa, we finally won the appeal process on December 21st. And we got married January 2nd, like 2 weeks after.
Wow.
So we could, if we had been smart, we would have delayed the wedding.
Yeah.
But I was 24, she was 18. We were not particularly smart. We went ahead and got married. The marriage was 2 of the best years of my life and 2 of the worst. And I've been happily divorced for now 11 or 12 years. And I'm in a very happy long-term relationship with my current girlfriend. that has lasted a lot longer than my marriage, and we have
Yep.
no intention of getting married because I learned the lesson the first time. But
Yep.
anyway, so long story short, I end up 2009. I get downsized from my transportation job when the economy crashes,
Yep.
and at this point, I'm a resident. So at this point,
Right.
now the fact that Des Moines is a giant insurance hub plays into the matter, and I get a job at the Farm Bureau Claims Call Center, and I just fall in love. So that's how it all started. I'll have to put a notice at the beginning of this podcast saying, "Hey, for the high D's in the crowd, skip to minute 12, where we actually start talking about insurance." Needless to say, I'm a talker. Okay.
I love it.
So Chris, after we've broken the record of the longest anybody has managed to get me talking before actually talking about their Insurtech, what is Ferro and what is Unico?
Yeah, man. So I kind of stumbled my way into insurance. So I was a finance and banking and investments major in college, and I'm probably not super strong at math like yourself. So got into banking, and I was like, yeah, I don't really love this, and started playing pickup basketball over the noon hour with some guys. And one day they came up and they said, "Hey man, what do you do for work?" And I said, told them what I was doing, and they said, "You ever thought about getting into the independent brokerage world?" I was like, nah, definitely never thought about it once, and we kept talking anyways. Long story short, I ended up coming over to the brokerage. Unico is the name of our brokerage here in Nebraska. Claim to fame for Unico. Go ahead.
Real quick. Okay. So único in Spanish means unique. And when I saw the name, I kept going back and forth. Is it Unico? Is it único? Given that it's Omaha, Nebraska, I'm gonna take a wild guess that it's not the word in Spanish.
Correct. It is not it is, you are 100% right. It is not the word in Spanish. Interesting side story on that. I met my wife at a resort in Mexico called Unico on a Unico trip.
Okay. Okay. So let me get this straight. Okay. So the Unico brokerage decides, hey, awesome idea. Let's do the yearly trip or whatever, the reward trip to the Unico resort in Mexico, because what are the chances that it's called the same as our company, right? And you meet your wife there. So is she Mexican, or was she also on vacation?
She was actually, she's Portuguese Canadian. She was on vacation, and we were on vacation, and met there. But yeah, so
okay.
That's,
você fala português?
Yeah, I do not at all. I wish, but she speaks Spanish and Portuguese because, of course, both Latin root.
Awesome.
And so she's easing me into Spanish, but I'm a farm kid from Central Nebraska, so speaking multiple languages is just definitely not my strong suit.
Yes. So do me a favor, real quick. Pronounce my name and last name.
Oh man, Canas, Antonio Canas.
Okay, so she is thoroughly failing. I can't. Yeah, no. I hear you. You're a farm kid from Central Nebraska. It is what it is. I can't hold that against you. So you were telling me about Unico's call to fame before I so rudely interrupted. So Unico's
no, you didn't. No, all good. So our claim to fame now is we just hit the top 100 list of brokers this year. So we're an independently owned firm here in Nebraska. And I've worked here for about 8.5 years, a partner at the firm, and in the large commercial property casualty space. Okay.
Large commercial property casualty space.
Yeah.
Do you guys do mostly Nebraska and the upper Midwest, or what's your area of focus?
Yeah, so primarily Nebraska and the Midwest, and then we have a program business that actually takes us all over the country.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a wild guess that your book is like 80% farm and food processing.
There, very much of it is. Yes, you would not be wrong in that guess.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the good news is that none of your customers, or none of your clients are listening to this podcast. So you can say whatever you want.
You nailed it. No, not even close. No chance they're listening in.
Okay. So you've been a broker for eight almost 9 years. Commercially focused, large commercial
Yeah.
broker. By the way, you're way overdressed today. Like I'm a former farm underwriter, and I used to wear a suit and tie every day. And Gary Douglas, who was Douglas, yeah, who was running Nationwide Ag at the time, kept telling me every time he'd seen me, every time he would see me, he'd be like, "When are you gonna take the tie off?" And after a while, I started replying, "When I have your job." Like you've made it. You don't need to wear a tie anymore. But I was very careful. If I went to visit agents, then I definitely would put on a polo shirt. So you're way overdressed today for anything related to farm insurance.
I'm in the home office today. I had a few meetings, so I
Okay.
was trying to. But yeah, when I'm out and about, out seeing customers, I'm not in a button down. I can
Okay.
assure you
So
that.
congrats on Unico making the top 100 list. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
And what is Project Ferro?
Yeah, so that's really came out of my day-to-day experience interacting with my customers, right? And asking them, hey, what works about insurance, what doesn't work about insurance, what frustrates you. And really what I identified in those discussions with them is, hey, we love what you do at the brokerage. You work really hard for us, service, support, all those things are really good. We always talk about at the brokerage, we've got 4 cards we're working with. That's price, that's coverage, that's relationship, and that's service and support. But the one thing that they always came back and said is, we hate the process of insurance. The process is just frustrating, right? And so I always felt like I was leaving meat on the table in terms of taking care of my customers. And so as I started asking them those questions, I just really identified that what they needed was a true client platform, their own client platform, customer experience to engage with insurance in a digital way. And so that's really what we went out and built. We researched the marketplace, hundreds of Insurtechs floating around out there, and just said, gosh, there's not really anything that seems to be addressing the problem they're telling me, right, that they have. And so what would it look like for us to build it ourselves? And so
So
that's really what we set out to do.
one quick correction. There's not hundreds of insurtechs. There's a couple thousand insurtechs. Like I'm not even joking. Like it used to
Correct.
be like there are articles on Insurance Nerds from when we first started, or like way back in the day. I literally wrote an article called 8 startups that are revolutionizing insurance. We didn't even have the word insurtech, number one. And
Yep.
number two, there were like 30 at the time. So I took a pretty good look at all 30, and I wrote about the 8 that I liked the best.
Yep.
There's now thousands. Like it is
Yes.
impossible to keep track anymore. So much so
Impossible.
that I have had 334 of them as guests on the podcast, right? Like it is, there's just thousands. Okay, based on LinkedIn says that that Project Ferro started 2.5 years ago. I'm assuming that's just when you decided, or right? Okay.
Yeah.
So how's it going? What have you guys, what part of the process are you in to create this thing that you want to create?
Yeah, so you would be dead on. That was when the idea happened. As you know, there's a lot of work that goes between an idea and actual, implementation and execution. So we were fortunate with my partners here. They were gracious enough to let Unico kind of be the beta, or the
That's really
pilot
cool.
for Ferro, and so we were able to really start teasing out, okay, hey, if we're going to put this thing in front of our policyholders, what are the implications for us at the brokerage, right? And how do we have our agency management system interface and work well with that? How do we build it into workflows? and really get this into the hands of our customers and take better care of them, right? Give them that client experience that is just differentiating better than what they get elsewhere, right? And so that was really the journey, was just working through that with Unico for about a year and a half, honestly, and really just taking it slow, not trying to get out over our skis too much. And so we were fortunate then we got invited into, at the end of 2021, we got invited to join the competitive BrokerTech Ventures Accelerator.
So the moment you talked about what you guys are doing, I was planning on at the end of the conversation saying, have you looked at BrokerTech? And the moment you said we got invited to, I'm like, BrokerTech, good, awesome. I love BrokerTech.
Yeah, they do a great job.
But by the way, anybody at BrokerTech listening, we've had this conversation before. We would love to have you sponsor. Anyway, continue.
Love it. I'll put in, Tony, I got you, man. I'll put in a good word for you. I got you.
And by the way, don't get me wrong. Like every Insurtech startup is welcome to come on the podcast. We are not a pay to play. We're a service to the community. We're not a pay to play. But I would love to have BrokerTech as a sponsor. Anyway, continue.
No, yeah. So they're great. They and probably would benefit from being one, and maybe even be a good guest for you. But yeah, so that was cool because we got invited into that. It's competitive. There's 70, 80 Insurtechs that we had to compete with to make it through that process. And we're fortunate enough to make the cohort for 2022. And so just a wonderful opportunity to start kind of interfacing directly with those folks who we hope to sell Ferro to, which
when did the program start for 2022?
Yeah, so they kind of start the real selection process starts in January, and then you kind of make your final selection about mid-March, and then they do what they call BTV Mania, which would be early April. And that's where they bring in the cohort class together with the broker and insurance company partners all to Des Moines to sit down for 2 days and just start rapping on problem solutions.
I've got to say, coming from forgotten old Omaha, Nebraska, spending a few weeks in Des Moines, I would be super excited.
I couldn't wait. I mean, I thought to myself, like, I have been looking for an opportunity to spend half a week in Des Moines. I mean, it was
only half a week. Oh, okay. No, for anybody listening whose kids are considering college, or if we have anybody listening who hasn't gone to college yet, I am quite impressed that you're listening. But if you want the schools with the best sports in the area, then in most years that's either the University of Iowa or the University of Nebraska. If you want a real education, then I highly recommend Iowa State, unless you want to be an actuary, in which case Drake is very good. Okay. But yeah, quite honestly, Des Moines is much more of a city than Omaha, at least in my experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it's just a lot more fun. I mean, the weather sucks at both, but it's just a lot more fun.
The weather is not great at either. I can assure you of that. And Des Moines is a great small city, and Omaha is a great small city. I can't complain about either. I'll let you do it, but if for my money, I'm going to Omaha all day. I just gotta say.
So let's take a quick pause. Since we've had quite a bit of rapport in this recording. So Omaha has the railroad stuff. What else does Omaha have? Because the football stuff is over in Lincoln. That's what, a couple hours away, hour and a half away.
Lincoln's about 45 minutes.
Okay, roughly. That's not too far away. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What else is there to do in Omaha?
So about the same thing there is to do in Des Moines. Get some drinks, eat some good food, and see some concerts.
So downtown Des Moines has seen a lot of investment that has made it a really attractive place for young professionals. Yeah. Is that the case with downtown Omaha?
It very much so, actually. In fact, that's part of Ferro's startup, or our journey, or our story is It actually has a very strong startup community,
Wow.
really
Okay.
vibrant startup community, actually. So
Okay.
we were the beneficiaries of that too.
Have you connected with Chris? You probably don't know which Chris I'm talking about. So I wanna need to I
Yeah,
am
look it
so
up.
bad with names. Okay, so he uh is British and now lives in Nebraska. And is very involved with Insurtech Omaha. Uh, what's Chris's name? I will probably cut this part of me not remembering
Oh,
Chris's name.
that's okay. No worries, man. No worries.
Franklin, Chris Franklin. I remembered it. It wasn't just that I found him. I remember then found it. So here I'm gonna share my screen super quick. Okay, so Chris Franklin. It says New York City. That's a lie.
Christopher
uh,
Franklin.
Chris is a great Brit that married a Nebraskan, and he's very involved in the insurtech space in Nebraska. Great guy, great friend.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I'll have to look him up.
perfect. So yeah, definitely reach out to Chris Franklin. I'm happy to make an introduction myself. He might still have an apartment in New York, but the reality is he, for the most part, lives in Nebraska. That's where his kids are. Uh,
Oh yeah,
so
man. Yeah. Hook me up. I'd
definitely
love to meet him. It'd be
awesome.
awesome.
So if you send me a message, I'll make the introduction.
Okay. Love
Yeah.
it.
And I hope that I remember to take this part out where I didn't remember his last name. So I've got a really funny story real quick. So last year we were at Insurtech Connect. And of course I'll be there this year. And Bold Penguin had an event where they it was a private VIP. You had to sign up ahead of time. It was free, but you had to sign up ahead of time in this really cool like at the top of the hotel with a view of
Yeah.
Vegas. Anyway, and they had Shaq as a speaker. Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball player, as a speaker.
I
So
love it.
so we go to the event, and they have Shaq taking pictures with people, right? And Chris and I are next in line, and I am 5'7". Chris has got to be like 6'4", like 6'3", 6'4", and Shaq is 7'1", right? 7'1" or 7'2", something like that. So
Love
anyway,
it.
so Chris uh gets stands next to Shaq, right? Big smile, both of them.
Oh yeah.
I take the picture with Chris's phone, and then it's my turn, and Chris is gonna take my picture with his phone, right? Chris looks at the photo and goes like, no, hold on, can you retake it? Yes, I'll retake it. So he goes back uh right next to Shaq. I take the picture, and then they take Shaq away, and I don't get my picture. so so I he's like, I'm so sorry, dude. And I'm like, okay, here's what we do. Send me the picture, and I'm gonna Photoshop my face onto your body. And he sent it to me. And I haven't done it yet. I need to do that. And it's gonna be really funny because anybody like, regardless of how good the Photoshop job, anybody who knows me is gonna immediately go like, there's no way that
Yeah.
Tony
Oh, totally.
reaches Shaq's shoulders, right?
I
Tony would be
love
like
it.
down here, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh
anyway, it's
yeah.
gonna be hilarious, and it's taking me almost a year, and I haven't done the photoshopping, but I need to do that anyway.
Oh yeah. You absolutely should.
So is broker tech still in progress, or are you done with? Have you gone through it and you're done now?
Yeah, to a large degree, it becomes a community, right? So it's
Of
never
course.
fully done
Uh
for
huh.
sure. But to a large degree, the the support of getting BTV Mania put together, getting us connected with all the folks, they'll continue to support those efforts, and making sure that we're getting in front of the right people. But to a large degree, then that just becomes, those direct relationships after they've had a chance to vet us and say, hey, yeah, we'd like to continue to, have discussions or enter into a proof of concept or be your advisor or whatever going forward. And so it kind of carries on in that way.
Uh
But to
huh.
a large degree, the heavy lifting's done
Okay.
at this point.
And I've got to say, the website looks fantastic. Why should brokerages partner with Ferro?
Yeah, well, I think the real simple answer is it is a sales, retention, and differentiation tool. It's giving policyholders a way to engage with insurance that they've never had before, and most brokers aren't offering today.
Okay, and I did notice on the website that you say that it's speeds renewals by 75%. That is gigantic. How does it do that?
So for the brokerage, our biggest challenge is getting information from our policyholders, right? They hold their information. And so that happens today with tons of back and forth, emails, Excels, PDFs. What we've done with Ferro by putting it in the hands of policyholders is created a live living data set or source of truth, a data endpoint, if you will, for the industry. So now that data is live, it's living, stays up to date throughout the course of the year. Our policyholders should only have to maybe update an application, e-sign it within the platform, hit submit, and all of that information flows directly to us at the brokerage where we can run with it. Again, we can API that into an AMS or a CRM, maybe even into a carrier or insurance company, rating portal. But the goal is we're not repenning and creating a ton of redundancy for ourselves in the process. So that's how we do it.
Okay, so um, you've got them listed as providers, but I assume that about providers you mean carriers. Okay,
Yeah,
so
correct. Yep.
so I would put providers slash carriers so that
Yeah.
carriers know on the website where to go. So why should the carriers partner with you guys?
Yeah, so the interest we're getting from insurance companies at this point really comes down to having a direct pipeline to customer information, to policyholder information. So we at the brokerage, you've been around long enough to know this. What we do with information is we make it less accurate while we have it, and that's just the fact.
Well, but that's a very good point. By definition, you can't make the information more accurate because you're not the client, right?
Correct.
That is, I just had never heard anybody describe it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what they love about it is what we're creating with Ferro is a collaborative environment around the policyholder, right? The
Uh-huh.
broker can now come and collaborate with the policyholder and their tool, as can the company. And so we're not disintermediating the broker. I believe brokers, advisors, consultants are going to be around forever.
Agreed for completely.
And policyholders still value us and the work that we do and the advice that we give. And so what we're trying to do is help get policyholder information into the ecosystem efficiently. And so companies really like that, right? They're like, gosh, wait, I could get the information direct, process it, possibly pass down information direct, and still loop my broker in the process, right? My distribution at the company level. And we're all working together now, collaborating, moving in the same direction. That's really what we're trying to execute,
So
man.
the broker can be an advisor the way they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
not an information, uh, and not a broken telephone.
Yeah, it's like when I play, we're sitting around the campfire with my kids, right? And they're like, Dad, let's play the secret game. And like my girls are pretty strong with it. Usually the message gets passed, and then it gets to my son, and that's where it all breaks down, right? And that's kind of how we look at it.
Okay. Um, why should policyholders partner with Ferro?
I think the industry's done a really poor job of honestly of advocating for policyholders. We kind of feign that we do that, but I think giving them a resource to really take some control of their insurance risk management journey is really powerful for them. So I think it gives them the power to not only kind of self-manage, self-control some of those aspects, save time for them as well. But I think it gives them the power to push into, hey, I want a more transparent, clear experience, right? And that's a lot of those friction points. They're like, well, I don't know what my broker makes, or I don't know this, or I don't know that. I don't get how insurance works. We're trying to really give them a vision into that whole process that I think eliminates a lot of those friction points for them.
Okay. And I see that you have an ebook on the website, modernizing insurance broking. So tell me about that. Why uh, what's in there? Why would what do we have to gain by giving you the email so we can download it?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think the goal with that is really to explain the philosophical approach behind Ferro, right? And I think it's provocative to some degree. Brokers on the initial, right? They're like, gosh, wait, are we giving up too much control? Like we really like control, right? And we're just explaining, hey, you're not actually losing any control. We're empowering you. The more you engage your customer, the more you empower your customer, the more actually empowered we are at the brokerage to do well for them. And so we're just really trying to walk brokerages through the philosophy there of, hey, giving something to your policyholder and doing the right thing for them. Imagine that it's actually the right thing for you too, right? And explain that methodology really is the purpose of the ebook there.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So when the podcast goes live, I will tag you on LinkedIn, and I will tag the company on LinkedIn, and I will include in the show notes the link to your LinkedIn and the link to
Excellent.
projectferro.com. By the way, where did the name come from?
So that's my Portuguese wife. So Ferro in Portuguese stands for steel, or rough translation could be
Oh,
strength. And we're
okay,
trying to strengthen the
perfect.
policyholder's position in the ecosystem. So
Love it.
that's all Clara.
Love it, and I want to say it on record before we finish recording, but very cool of Unico to let you pursue this on the side while still a Unico.
100%.
Fantastic. If you had called me for career advice 3 years ago and said you wanted to pursue this, I would have pretty much told you chances are you have to leave to be able to pursue it.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive props to Unico.
Amen.
Uh,
Amen. Thank
somebody
you for saying it.
somebody in there is a very enlightened leader.
Yep.
So fantastic.
Absolutely
Awesome,
agree.
awesome. So it's been a lot of fun to have you on. By the way, if anybody from I've done a lot of ragging on Omaha, Nebraska during this recording. I just want to clarify that I'm an Iowan at heart, so it's just a matter of state rivalries.
I think
But
we're gonna need to roll out a poll,
but
Des Moines or
I
Omaha, and just let the people decide, man.
but I joke. And if the Big Eye of Nebraska or Insurtech Omaha or any other insurance organization in the Omaha area would like to have me speak at an event and show me a good time in Omaha and show me that I'm wrong about Omaha, I am game. Just reach out,
Love
let me
it.
know. Now, within the months of April and September. But then again, I would say the same thing about Des Moines.
Yeah,
uh,
no kidding.
so anyway, thank you so much for having me on. Excuse me. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Of course.
I look forward to see Ferro continue to grow, and I look forward to having you back here in a couple of years to talk about the amazing things Ferro is doing in the industry.
Love
Thank
it,
you.
man. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.